Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to the video. There's another paid request, this time for Ash. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both things are down below in the info box. And this is for chasing ghosts. Not goats, just my fucked up words and verbal idiocy will almost maybe say that. But chasing ghosts from 2005, which I had never heard of before. The movie I didn't really care for. I thought it was rather lame. It's very flashy in terms of its editing. Like some of those early bits of CSI. And in a way, this kind of tries to be like a overgrown CSI episode. Which, I mean, I love CSI Miami. I'd just rather watch that than this. And the director felt like he wanted to be the movie Seven, with an ending that was like the usual suspects. But then you just go watch those movies instead. Or hell, even a Seven ripoff, I'll go watch Resurrection with Christopher Lambert. Because here's the thing, this has a really good cast. And it's kind of a shame because I felt this cast was rather wasted in this fairly mediocre movie. Because you got Michael Madsen as your lead, a cop who's ready to retire. We find out that a year or two ago, he was in the pockets of this gangster, this mobster, I should say, played by Gary Busey. And because he was in the pockets of this guy, there's a time when Gary Busey found that there was an undercover cop working for his organization, played by Michael Rooker from Cliffhanger, and he was in Slither, Guardians of the Galaxy movies, at least the first two. So one thing leads to another, and that cop got killed, and Michael Rooker couldn't really do anything because he was in the pockets of this guy, but after that, no more. He wanted to go on the straight and narrow. Like I say, he's close to retirement. And like Seven, you have a cop who's close to retirement, and he's got to take on this younger partner while they deal with these killings, this crime. In this case, it's someone killing criminals, and they leave these Polaroids around. And with each crime scene, these Polaroids make more and more of a scene, which is the scene of Michael Rooker having been killed long ago. Now, I mentioned the cast. Michael Madsen, I mentioned. Gary Busey. We see him in flashbacks and then a little bit at the end. Michael Rooker. Which, I mean, he didn't really have much to do other than kind of being tied up and interrogated by Gary Busey. Like, kind of a waste of Michael Rooker, who's such a good actor. Other people, you got Meatloaf. Like a bath, how deep go until you're gone. Sadly, he's passed away. Really enjoyed him as a singer. Didn't mind him as an actor either. He was in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. He was in Black Dog, the Patrick Swayze film, as a villain. He's here as a cop. Although he's pretty much the boss, the captain, and these other cops are under him. Sean Whalen, who played the character Roach in The People Under the Stairs, the guy with no ton. He's there as a guy studying the photos, deal with forensics. And these other people keep popping up like, holy shit, there's Mark Walston. You know, Drake from Aliens. Drake, we are leaving. And he shoots and he gets the... And then when he hears that, he shoots an alien, gets the acid on him. So Mark Wolson's in. He was also in the first Rush Hour movie. Lachlan Monroe, who played the cop in Freddy vs. Jason, who Jason electrocutes. He was in, I think, the first Eerie movie. Been a lot of stuff. He plays another cop. Tom Wright, who I remember in films like Men of War with Dolph Lundgren. He's a cop. Danny Trejo, he's a guy who is a criminal who just pulled in to be interrogated. And he pops up in a scene near the end of the film. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is in this, who will later be in Watchmen, and he was very popular as on the Walking Dead TV show, as the Man with the Bat. He pops in for like 5 minutes at the end of this movie. I'm like, holy shit, like this is a crazy cast. And I really don't know what they saw in this movie for them all to sign up for this. Because a lot of them really are given nothing to do other than kind of lollygag and be behind the times of this crime being committed. It's either Michael Madsen, which I do like him as an actor. I do think he's a good actor. Although there are times where it seems like his character is supposed to be much more emotional, emotionally drained, filled with guilt, filled with angst because of what happened. And either the director did not get that out of Michael Madsen, or Michael Madsen didn't want to portray that. So it's just Michael Madsen kind of being Michael Madsen. He's good at that, don't get me wrong. But you kind of wish there would be more of these emotional scenes where he really could push his acting. But again, either the director didn't want to do that or Madsen didn't want to do that. I don't know. So that kind of falters that bit of the story there. So it's either him talking with Michael Rooker's daughter, who of course doesn't know the details of what happened, aka Madsen was there when her dad died, and he is trying to be a father figure to this girl, dealing with his new partner, which this guy I thought his acting sucked. Corey Large. Yeah, I like some large fries and a large milkshake. Okay, get back to work at the fast food place. I have all respect for people at the fast food place, but not this guy, because we need more. We need more people there, because you can't ask for shit, Corey Large. I'm sorry. He sits out like a bad habit. He sits out like a big old belly button. He's terrible. Like, you see all these other actors around him who are rather good and competent, and this guy just doesn't have it. The way he delivers his dialogue is not natural. He doesn't have the presence. He doesn't have the charisma. I don't know why the fuck he was hired. Was it because he was the writer's buddy? Because the writer would go on to direct other movies, and I looked up these other movies, and Corey Large is in a lot of them. So if that's the case, okay, I'm glad that he's your buddy, but we're not here to sing Kumbaya. We're not here for participation trophies and fucking ribbons. We're here to make a goddamn movie. And I would have to think Michael Madsen's looked at this guy, and I swear there are scenes where Madsen's looked at this guy going, the fuck is this guy doing? Like, really? This is the guy we got to act opposite me? Really? No, it's not like he's the worst actor in the world, but he's very weak. And easily the weakest actor in this movie. And the story just didn't feel that engaging. It just felt you have this stuff going on. A lot of flashbacks to Madsen thinking about Michael Rooker being interrogated by Gary Busey. I think we go back to these flashbacks a bit too much, because we kind of got the gist of them after one or two things. To keep going back just felt redundant, felt repetitive. And then you have this plot with Corey Large, the new partner, hitting on that daughter character, Michael Rooker's daughter. And he's sitting there going, why is he doing this? Because, spoilers, although you probably guessed the spoiler fairly early on, but it tries to have this twist where Michael Madsen keeps hinting that, well, oh yeah, Gary Busey, there was this rumor that he had a son, but we thought it was kind of bullshit, or we thought it was just a rumor, just a myth. And then literally almost an hour in, there's a line where it's, if you don't catch up with your past, it'll catch up with you. And then Michael Madsen tossed him and goes, you must have had a good papa. a bit weird to hear Michael Madsen say Papa, but okay. So they're doing. We just had reference more than once that Gary Busey's character might have had a son, and then this guy, this Corey character, says a line that is as much of a neon fucking sign as possible. If you don't catch up with your past, they'll catch up with you. And then Michael Madsen mentions, "Oh, you must have had a good dad." Who in this cast is young enough to be Gary Busey's son? Something about the past hitching up to you. That leads into this son that's been a myth or hidden away or such. Lo and behold, Corey Large is Gary Busey's son, and he's doing all this. Although, to be honest, he's only killed bad guys. To get to this point, to get close to Gary Busey, to kill his own dad, which it wasn't really his dad, because we saw a flashback that Gary Busey, you don't see his face, but it's supposed to be him. I forget what country it was in. This family was killed, but the son didn't die, and Gary Busey's character was, this kid's pretty tough. I'm going to take him as my son. And he's been trained. So I guess this kid's come back to kill Gary Busey so he can have the Busey's empire for his own. And it's trying to play off like this, oh my god, the usual suspects type of twist. But it just falls fucking flat. Because I don't give a shit about Corey Large. He was not that charismatic or interesting of a character. I did at least an hour in. If you're paying a bit of attention, you're going to figure it out. So it wasn't really that much of a surprise. And again, the crime scenes, they're not that interesting in terms of, like Seven. The idea that it's the 7 deadly sins. You see some really good graphic makeup effects. Or Resurrection with Christopher Lambert. It was, the killer is trying to take body parts to recreate the body of Jesus as Easter is coming up. Those are interesting stories or setups. This doesn't have that. There's never a point that you think, well, Michael Rooker is doing it because he's dead, or no, you never. That thought never enters your brain. So yeah, the finale is, Gary Busey's his character seems like the next one to be on the hit list. So Michael Madsen, not knowing who this guy is yet, says, okay, you go towards him. I gotta take care of some stuff. Lo and behold, Corey Large is able to get into it because he's a cop and he's got the badge, but he's able to kill Gary Busey. Meanwhile, Michael Madsen, he's looking up some leads, finds a person tied up, takes off his hood. It's Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Again, from Watchmen and all these other movies and TV shows. He's the cop. He's the cop who Corey Large impersonated. And I guess Jeffrey Dean Morgan has been here the whole fucking time. Which is interesting that, again, Corey Large really does not kill any innocent people. Like, he could have killed Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character and got rid of the body. He didn't. I don't know why. I guess it didn't seem like this guy had... I don't know if you would say he had moral values. But I guess we're supposed to think that, hey, because of his backstory, because of his flashback, he means well, but at the same time, he's also on a plane with Danny Trejo at the end to take over the criminal empire. So it's like, okay, I'm going to take over the criminal empire that my dad, Gary Busey, had, but at the same time, I'm a nice enough guy. I'm not going to kill this cop, and for some reason I'm going to try to, even though this is my plan all along, I'm going to hit on Michael Rooker's daughter for some fucking reason. I don't know, maybe he thought he did a quick poontang pie piece of ass. I don't know. And then Michael Rooker, when he finds this out, it's not like this big emotional bit. It's kind of the same look on his face. Almost like, compared that to The Usual Suspects, and I think it was Chaz Palminteri, you see this reaction on his face and him hurrying and trying to find the guy and just being so discombobulated that he got the wool pulled over him. You know, he got his ass tripped. So pretty much that guy, Corey Large, gets away while Michael Madsen's retired, but at the same time you get the idea that he's going to put this little evidence to give to Michael Rooker's daughter. And then we never see what happens to that. Whether Michael Rooker will go to jail, whether the daughter is like, fuck you, I'm going to fuck your day up. Because Michael Madsen didn't kill Michael Rooker, but he was there and he didn't do anything, and obviously he feels guilty, but we never see ultimately what happens with Michael Rooker, just that he's going to give the evidence to her. I guess it's up to... So, there's not much of a resolution. You don't really feel much of a big resolution for Michael Madsen's character. And then Corey Large, again, maybe if his acting was... It was an actor that's more charismatic or more... Oh man, I didn't see that coming. He tricked me because of his performance, and he seemed like such a nice guy, or he seemed like such an inept guy, or he seemed like such a incompetent guy, and the fact that he was the mastermind behind it all. And again, the crimes were not that interesting or that creative. It's just a very lackluster, mediocre affair, so I was not a fan of the movie. Waste of a pretty good cast, honestly. So also it was kind of boring. Just fairly boring. So with that said, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.